Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the stream. So we're going to be taking a hard left turn after being summarily dismissed from my office job for failing to file all of the files correctly, sufficiently. We're going to be playing a much different style of game. This is Chronicles of Crime 1400. And if you are completely unfamiliar with Chronicles of Crime, again, my connection speed is going crazy. I don't know. Hopefully, you're getting fairly decent frame rate and not too much clipping audio or anything like that. I have to look into this more because this is insane. My computer is not really doing much. I don't know why it should be like this. But anyway, okay, so playing Chronicles of Crime. So Chronicles of Crime is a story-driven game that is essentially a mystery game, like a detective game. The original Chronicles of Crime was set in present-day London, and Chronicles of Crime 1400 is set, I don't know, maybe you can guess, in the year 1400 in Paris. And it's part of the Millennium series, a trilogy of games set 1,000 years apart in Paris, following the same family, I believe. So we have 1400 and 1900, which was just recently released, and then 2400, which is coming out fairly soon. So, Chronicles of Crime is an app-driven game, which means that a lot of the game will actually take place on this phone app, which is a free app. This is where basically all of the cases are. This is where all of the text is. We use the board basically for scanning QR codes to access things in the app. So it's a bit of a strange hybrid. I would say a lot of people would say this physical components don't need to exist, but I think they have their place. So we're going to open up the box and we're going to see. So let's just read the introduction quickly. You get a sense of what the overall backstory is, and we're going to be playing case 1 after the tutorial. I already played through the tutorial, so I understand how to play the game. We're going to be playing the first actual case. Now, I did label this video as spoilers. If you watch this video, you will be basically seeing things for the first case, and this is not a replayable game, so please be aware of that. I would suggest watching this video only in 2 situations: if you've already played Chronicles of Crime 1400, or if you really aren't sure if you're ever going to play it and you want to see what it's like. You can watch the video, but if you're planning on playing the game, do not watch this video because you will have everything spoiled for you. And this is not something where you can just replay the same case. You basically will know all of the details. It's like rereading a detective book. You can do it. You might not necessarily enjoy the experience. So, it is the year 1400. You are Abelard de Lavelle, a knight sworn to King Charles VI, the Beloved. You live in the city of Paris in a family mansion not far from the famous Notre Dame Cathedral. Since you were a small child, you had strange prophetic dreams in which you saw violent scenes of past crimes or ones yet to be committed. Soon you learned that your unusual gift can be put to good use, started to solve cases that nobody else could crack. That earned you some reputation in the city. Now people seek your help whenever a mysterious crime is committed. So that is me, Abelard Lavelle. Also, we have the quote-unquote board, which is actually just cardstock. And this is kind of the central, location of the game. I'm going to be placing clues on this board as I discover them. Anything that I actually have in my physical possession, I will be putting in this red area, and something that I've just heard about or I know about, but I don't quite know where it is, I'll be putting in the blue area. People that I've heard about that I haven't actually met yet, I will be putting down here. And then I'll be putting locations off to the sides that I can then visit and look for clues or interrogate people. I want to say I absolutely love the box insert for Chronicles of Crime 1400. Lucky Duck Games, the publisher, did an excellent job. So we've got this little plastic here that keeps everything in place. I additionally, I always just wrap my cards in just a loose sandwich bag, but that is completely unnecessary because of how the insert works. You've got places for everything that actually labels on the insert what goes there. It's very, very nice. All right, so we're going to get out our components. So these are our visions. We might be asked to draw a vision over the course of the game, and that will give us a clue as to the solution of the mystery. I will put this off to the side. These are our locations. We always will be able to visit our home and talk to our family. Which I believe we have like an uncle, a sister, and a brother, if I remember correctly. So our uncle is a monk, so we could talk to him about anything to do with the church or like written material, so he might be able to determine like somebody's handwriting. Our sister is a merchant. She's an expert on expensive goods that we might find, particularly. And our brother is a spy in the service of the king, and he's an expert on people. So anybody that we run into, we might talk to him about. And you can see we have these QR codes on the card, and you basically just scan these with the app when you want to interact with it, and it's extremely intuitive. So everything is context sensitive. If you're in a location and you scan a person who's in that location, the app recognizes that that person is in the location, you can talk to them. If you're not in the location, you scan the person, the app tells you what you already know about that person. Same thing with items. And moving to a location just means scanning the QR code for that location. So if we want to go to our house, which apparently is double-sided here, if you want to go to our house, we just scan the QR code on the top right, and then we can scan the people to talk to them. And then we have additional locations here. These are all double-sided. We might be asked to go to them. I'm going to set them aside, kind of out of the play area. We also have a group of special items. So we would only draw these if the game tells us to. And I can have these face down. I'll just put them up here. And the regular items. So these regular items are basically all just like words, generic words. So these are mainly going to be drawn. The case might tell us to draw one, but they're mainly going to be drawn when we're investigating a crime scene or just investigating a location in general. So if I'm investigating a location, let's say I see a suit of armor. So I would then look for something that could describe a suit of armor. Well, maybe it's clothes. Or maybe it's, let's see, shields and armor. Or maybe it's melee weapons, if the armor's holding a sword. So if I scan one of those, if I'm really supposed to be looking at the suit of armor and I scan clothes, it might say, hey, if you're looking for the suit of armor, you should probably scan the, shields and armor card instead. So it will sort of course correct you if you scan the wrong thing. but generally you just have to use your, I guess, logic to determine, okay, this thing that I saw, which of these cards is it closest to? If you're playing multiplayer, you generally have one person looking at the location, which is going to be in this app here, and then the other players are searching through the deck and finding the things that the player is describing. When you're playing single player, you don't really have that option. So you just have to try to remember what you saw. And that's basically the only thing that makes this, that sort of restricts the single player experience. Everything else is pretty much just as good playing single player as playing cooperatively multiplayer, in my opinion. Obviously, you don't have the chance to talk to the other players and discuss what you've seen, but on the other hand, you get to solve the entire case by yourself, which is nice in its own way. And then we also have a group of people cards, and always going to have our trusty canine companion available to us as well. That's basically the big innovation. So this Millennium series, as I mentioned, the original Chronicles of Crime takes place in modern-day London. Chronicles of Time Millennium takes place in different points in history, and each game in the Millennium series has its own sort of twist on the gameplay formula. In 1900, for instance, you have to solve like puzzles, like actual puzzles in the app. In, I think, 2400, you can install body modification because it's sort of cyberpunk. In 1400, you have a dog. That's your big gameplay innovation, but it's a very good boy. So we're going to open up the app and we're going to select our case, and I'm basically going to read. There's going to be a ton of text in this game. I'm going to read it out loud, and hopefully you can follow along. Now, parental advisory for this, aside from the spoiler warnings, this says that it contains graphic content and references to sex. So please be aware of that if you are following along at home. There's going to be some graphic content and sexual references. Let's play the case. This is called The Missing Pages. So I start out at home. During the night, you have another strange dream containing visions of crimes that will haunt you until you solve the mystery behind them. Take vision cards 2, 3, 4, and 5 and place them face up on the table. It's interesting. Okay, so the first mission, the first tutorial case, had one vision, but this has multiple visions. So the first one, a man sitting at a desk writing something with some lit candles. Second vision, a woman. What is she doing there? She's pouring something for a man who looks to be a monk. I'm going to move these cards over here, actually. Third vision. Another man in front of a jug of something. He's got some scars on his face. Interesting. And I believe they said number 5 as well. Fifth vision. A woman holding a satchel or a bag. And it looks like she's being threatened with some sort of a bat, or I don't know, maybe somebody is holding a, I don't know, a pole of some kind. All right, let's move all of these up little bit. We'll put our 4 visions here. So these are going to help us solve the case. And I believe we can basically put all the visions back in the box. I'm just going to set them aside over here, out of sight. Okay. Next. As you expect, early in the morning, a messenger appears at the door of your family house. He carries grim news. There was a murder in the secular scriptorium in the Quartier Latin location. Let's see. Point of interest 1. Is there a number 1? Or is that maybe the letter I? Maybe that was supposed to be I. Hopefully that was an I. Let's see. I think you can go back. Let's look at our history here. Yeah, that's the letter I. The owner of the scriptorium, Bertrand Castanier, is an old friend of your father. One of his scribes was murdered, and although he and the guards are already looking into it, he believes they are neglecting the case. Although the guards are already looking into it, Bertrand believes they are neglecting the case and wants someone he trusts to investigate the crime. So I'm going to put Bertrand down here. I believe he's probably here, but it did not tell me he was there. So he's somebody that I know of, but I haven't actually encountered him yet. You have to find out who murdered the scribe. When you feel you know who the killer is, you should get back to your home, report the findings to your family, so that they can inform the authorities. Apparently, you have no authority yourself. All right. My instructions. Solve the case. Okay. So, I think the very first thing I'm going to do is, since I'm already at home, now, everything that you do in this game takes time. In the tutorial case, time was not really an issue, but in some of the cases, time might be an issue. So maybe I can only meet people at certain times, or I have to solve the case in a certain amount of time, or the killer will escape, something like that. So I have to be somewhat cognizant of that as I continue playing through the game. But so I don't necessarily want to move back and forth between locations, talk to people about things that aren't necessarily important. But I do know my brother, or my uncle, is a monk, and this case involved monks. So I'm going to speak to my uncle about the case. So I put my camera over the QR code, touch and hold. Oh, it's my beloved nephew. Many blessings in your search. How may a humble servant of the Lord use his books to help you? Do you know about this fellow? I don't know many people outside the clergy. Your brother, the king's spy, is better acquainted with such affairs. Well, he is in the clergy, so he's a monk. Do you know anything about the scriptorium? No, I can't ask about the location. I can only ask about objects. Let's talk to my brother while we're here. Your brother is a spy and the loyal servant of our king. He's the best source of information about nobles, merchants, scholars, and other highborn of the city. So I did not actually say goodbye before I scanned the brother. So that was actually me asking my uncle about my brother. So I'm going to say goodbye. And I'm going to now scan my brother to talk to him. Hello, brother! You may draw upon my knowledge of Paris and the secrets kept by its people. Yes, well, tell me about Bertrand. He runs a secular scriptorium in Paris. I guess it's secular, so it's a scriptorium in the sense that they do writing. But he's not necessarily a monk, is he? I suppose it's not easy for him to compete with those run by monks. He seems to be a decent man. Let's say goodbye. Okay, I'm going to go to the scriptorium. You arrive at Bertrand's scriptorium and enter the workshop, where the victim's body, 18, lies on the floor. So I'm going to search for card 18 here. And this is the victim. So I'm going to put his card here. I can examine it. Obviously, he's dead, so I can't actually talk to him. Bertrand, his wife, and the Châtelet sergeant are here. All right, so that Châtelet sergeant looks an awful lot like the guy I saw in my vision. It looks to be drinking a mug of some sort of alcohol. I didn't see Bertrand or his wife kind of looks like her. Okay. The sergeant gives you a nasty look and continues searching the room. So, I have a few options. I can interrogate anybody here, or I can search the scene, which will open up something that will be very difficult to do in the while recording, although I think, I don't know if there's a way to, let me see, if I go to my main menu, no, let's not exit this current scenario. I think there might be a way to look through these crime scenes by like scrolling instead of rotating your phone, but the way that it's normally set up is augmented reality, where you basically hold the phone in front of you like binoculars, basically, and you rotate around in 360 degrees. So that's the way I'm going to do it, and I will just describe what I see to you. So I can search the scene. I can, I believe, examine the corpse. That's probably what will happen if I scan the corpse, or I can talk to any people who are here. So I'm going to begin by, actually, since I'm thinking about it, I'm going to talk to my dog. Percival barks and eagerly waits for your command. So I'm going to have Percival sniff the dead body. Percival can only track something by sniffing an object. Okay. I'm going to see what he thinks of this sergeant. No, he's not going to tell me anything. I think Percival can interact with people and not only objects. Let me see. You can show him evidence. It looks like you can't show him people. I thought it said, it says the dog won't react to a character or location. I thought it said that the dog will sort of tell me if people are trustworthy or not, but maybe he'll just do that on his own without me having to interact with him. So that being said, I'm going to start by examining the body. Let's see what happens if I scan the body. The victim lies in a pool of blood. He has some bruises on his hands and a serious head wound, most likely inflicted with a blunt object. Judging by the look of his body, he died last night. Okay, so he was most likely killed by a blunt object. I'm going to search the scene now. So, I'm going to select my method of searching the scene, and I'll briefly sort of show you what it looks like. So see, I'm looking down at the ground, bring this up here, and then as I rotate it around, it gives me a different view of the scene. But this is on a timer, so I'm going to just look through it. Oh, okay. So I'm seeing a broom, which is probably not important. I see some candles. This actually looks a lot like this desk here. So I see candles. I see a roll of parchment with a seal on it. I see many more rolls of parchment. I have to sort of stand up to do this. Oh, I see the dead body. There's a lot of blood. So I'm gonna say blood. There's a locked box. There's a cross. Yeah, I might have to take another look at the scene later, but that takes a little bit of time. So I'm going to start with the things that I was pretty sure that I saw at the scene. So I remember a locked box. I remember candles. I remember a roll of parchment. I remember some blood, obviously a dead body, and a cross. All right, so parchments and papers, I saw that. I didn't see any footprints. I definitely saw blood and organs. I don't know if a cross counts as jewelry. I think it counts as religious objects. I think there's one later on that's just religious objects. So we'll do that. I saw furniture. There was a desk. I might as well add that. There was a locked box. I don't think counts as keys and locks. Devotional objects is probably the cross. Let's see. I didn't notice any doors and windows. There's definitely writing tools and materials. And let's say, I think there was a book. It was a little hard to see. Didn't notice any animals. Flammable objects. Oh, there's definitely a box. Okay, I think that does it for what I saw. There were candles. That's flammable object. There you go. Okay, that ought to do it. Okay, so let me start scanning these and see if it accepts these. A few sheets of paper, some filled with writing. To learn more, scan the letters and messages category card. All right, so we're going to go instead to card 15. And we'll put card 2, parchments and papers, back. The sergeant interrupts you. You should leave this investigation to the professionals, he says, and leaves the workshop. All right, scan letters and messages. A set of papers is lying on the desk. Among them, you find the letter written in the name of the local tavern owner. The author asks for news about a shipment of Burgundy wine that never arrived at the tavern. So I found a clue. I get to put it on my clue board as shown here. All right, I definitely also saw a devotional object, this cross. A jeweled cross is lying on the floor of the workshop not too far from the victim's body. I found another clue. I saw candles. Those are flammable. Nothing in this category here. Well, you're wrong because there definitely were candles. They're even in my vision. Let's see. I definitely saw a box. A small decorated wooden box with carvings depicting a group of dancers. Inside you find a lock of dark hair. Interesting. So I wonder, is there a category that would encompass hair? Headwear? Do you think hair counts as headwear? Toiletries and hygiene? Well, let's try scanning toiletries and hygiene and see what happens. I doubt that's it, but I'm not going to scan it, actually. That's wasting my time. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Well, I definitely saw blood. The blood comes from a severe head wound, which seems to have been inflicted by blunt force. They didn't say that I found a clue, so I'm not going to save that as a clue. Let's see. I saw a desk, book stands, writing desk, chairs, everything you would expect in a scriptorium. It did not say that that was a clue, so I'm not going to save it. Writing tools and materials. Nothing in this category. It's a scriptorium. I think there's some writing tools. What about books? Several books are scattered across the floor, and the bookstand is empty. There is no sign of the illustrated book you saw in your dream. I wonder, is that this? I wish that they would describe the dream as well as actually showing me the vision card. Okay, so the book is missing. It does not count as a clue. Hopefully they haven't just decided, oh, you get what clues are, and stop telling me to put them on the board. So that could very well be what happens. Okay, I might come back and look at the scene again later, but I feel like these 3 clues are pretty important to start with. So I'm going to see, actually, I think it sounded like the sergeant left. Like I can't talk to him anymore. But let me see if he's still here. I'm going to scan him. Sergeant is not here anymore. So I'm going to put him down here as somebody that I know about, but he's not present. I should have maybe talked to him first, but it sounds like he's a bit of a grump anyway. Okay. So let's talk to Bertrand and his wife. I'm going to start with Bertrand. I'm glad you're here. I hope you and your 4-legged friend will help explain this horrid situation. Please ask me anything you need. Okay, I'm going to start by asking about the dead man. Still can't believe this has happened. His name was Antoine, and he was my best scribe, young, dedicated, hard-working. I can't imagine running the workshop without him. I admit, I allowed him to take some side jobs. Different people were coming to him, sometimes even at night. It didn't seem that strange at first, because he often worked late. Then I noticed these people seemed a bit thuggish, especially one of them, card 16. So some thuggish fellow that we have not yet met. I warned Antoine not to deal with people of that sort. He was rather withdrawn and rarely explained himself, but I was fine with that as long as his work got done. He seldom left the workshop, even though he had a place at La Grande Boucherie, location K. So now I can go visit, what's his name, Jacques? I can go visit, or Antoine. I can go visit Antoine's place. It is someplace that I know about. I feel like this game might actually be too large to capture. Bless you! That was my cat. So he had a place at La Grande Boucherie. I'm just going to take this and put it here. And let's see, I'll put these cards over here. Gotta get them out of the way. I think I might be shuffling things around quite a bit as I play. But for now, I'm going to sort of set my home card aside because we know that I can always visit my home. This is not quite actually lined up with the table. There we go. Okay. So we know I can always visit my home. So I'm going to sort of set it aside, out of sight. But you know it's there. And we'll put that there, and then there's room for maybe one more at the bottom. Recently, he's been focusing on one particular book, a richly illustrated tome. Card number 1. And I know about it, but I don't know where it is, so it's going to go down here in the blue. But I'm not sure what it was about or who gave him that job. Found a clue. So this is telling me to put it in blue in case I didn't figure it out on my own. All right, Bertrand, tell me more about this thuggish fellow. I saw him talking with Antoine. I went to the workshop in the evening, and this man was there looking at me silently with a daring smile. The next day I warned Antoine, but he assured me everything was fine. I guess that wasn't true, given what happened to poor Antoine. Let's talk about the sergeant. Do you have any history with the sergeant? That's why I asked for your help. Guards here aren't even pretending they care about what happened. He arrived not long before you and has barely looked at the body. Tell me about your wife. That's my lovely wife, of course. She helps me with running the scriptorium, and I don't know what I'd do without her. She was the one who found the body. I scolded her for going all by herself. What if the killer had still been there? I didn't hear anything, as I usually sleep like a dead man. Pardon me, not the best choice of words in this situation. Okay. So she is the one who discovered the body. I can ask her about that. Anything else you can tell me about this illustrated book? Illuminated? I'm pretty sure the book wasn't one of my commissions. It could be one of Antoine's side jobs. Do you know anything about this box with a locket of hair in it? Bertrand scratches his head. The box seems familiar. Maybe I saw it in the workshop before? It's for the hair. I was never interested in Antoine's private matters. What about this cross? Yes, I remember this. It belonged to Antoine. He received it as a gift from a relative. Maybe a patron, I'm not sure. I know it's unusual to see such valuable jewelry in the hands of a scribe. But Antoine never explained himself, and I never asked. I'm sure he was wearing the cross last time I saw him, which was yesterday. I might as well ask about this letters and messages. It's one of the documents Antoine copied for his side job. The tavern mentioned in the letter is located at the Rue de la Porte Montmartre. Rue de la Porte Montmartre. I have no idea. The street of the Port of Montmartre. Okay. All right. Goodbye, Bertrand. Let's talk to your lovely wife. I hope I can help somehow. Yes. Well, first tell me about this body that you discovered. I found him dead in his workshop. It was late at night, and I heard sounds of fighting. I ran to see what was happening, but the doors between our house and the workshop were locked. When I came back with the spare key, it was already too late. Antoine was dead. The door leading to the street was open. I didn't see the killer. All right, so the door was locked. That's an interesting clue. My husband had a high opinion of the scribe, but I think he was up to something. Working at night? Meeting with strangers? Doing other jobs on the side? I can't believe Bertrand let this man do whatever he wanted. He pretended to be shy and hardworking, but I saw him meeting a young woman. Card 25. Oh, that might be the woman from my vision. There's something around the eyes that looks familiar. Sometimes even late at night. That is not how a decent man behaves, is it? All right, I do want to ask you about this lock of hair. Marie reacts nervously. Why would I know anything about it? A lock of hair? Maybe it belongs to the young woman who visited Antoine so often. Okay. Seems a bit suspicious, that reaction. Do you know anything about this illuminated manuscript? I saw Antoine working on that book, but I believe it was one of his additional commissions. All right, let's ask her about the woman. A young woman, about 25 years old, with dark hair, quite a pretty face, and sad eyes, Antoine never spoke of her, but it was obvious there was something going on. What kind of woman freely visits a man at night? Have you seen this unsavory-looking fellow? Unfortunately, I don't know this person. So everything I ask her about is adding time to my clock here, and it is now 9:40, I believe, a.m. So clock is ticking as I ask these questions. I think I'm not going to continue asking questions. I could go back and ask Bertrand. Actually, I will. I'm going to go back and ask Bertrand. Glad you're here. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to ask him about that young lady. I saw her visiting Antoine. None of my business as long as he did the work. Okay. So, in that case, ooh, I can use my dog. I'm going to use my dog. Okay. With such a companion, you will solve the case in no time, I suppose. I forgot to say goodbye. Okay, so I'm going to scan my dog. Percival barks and eagerly waits for your command. Can you smell this lock of hair? Percival instantly walks up to Marie. He stops in front of her, staring intently and emitting a few soft barks. That's kind of what I thought was going on. But something very similar happened in the tutorial case. Okay, then. I wonder, if I ask her again, do you think she'll give me a different answer? It's only like 5 minutes. Let's do it. Try it. No, here. I'm going to ask you about that again. Yes, this is my hair. It was a gift, you see. There was something between me and Antoine some time ago, but after a while he rejected me. Didn't want to see me anymore. I had nothing to do with his death, I swear. I know I shouldn't have gotten involved in the relationship in the first place, but please don't tell my husband about it. He can't control himself when he's jealous. Okay, well, maybe that's our answer. Well, it's certainly a possibility, but I feel like I need to follow up more leads before I have determined if that is actually what's going on. So I can go to the pub, or I can go to where Antoine was staying. I think I'm going to go to where Antoine was staying first. You visit an old tenement house cramped at the back of a narrow alley. When you try to enter, you are stopped by a man who introduces himself as the householder. Card 23. Let me see. Yep, that's about as much as I can fit. Okay. That's it? That's all I get? Okay, let's talk to him. Aren't you that miraculous knight everyone talks about? And there's the faithful dog. What a story! I'm Pierre, and I'm at your service. Thank you, Pierre. Tell me about Antoine. Dead? That's horrible! Well, he lived in the room upstairs with his sister. Card 25. And her husband. Card 24. Ooh, actually that looks like the guy in this picture, not the sergeant. Okay, the pieces are starting to come together. Honestly, I rarely saw him in the apartment. He often stayed overnight elsewhere. I don't know where. I can show you the room where they live. The householder leads you upstairs to a small one-room apartment where you meet a slightly drunk man. Card 24. Let's talk to him. He's a pathetic drunkard. I keep asking about people when I mean to talk to them. I'm sure I will break that habit quickly, but for my first few cases, that appears to be what's happening. He's one pathetic drunkard. I've heard numerous loud quarrels between him and his wife, Jean. They've struggled to pay the rent on time. Getting a fancy wine wasn't a problem for him. Part 2. And there's that cask of wine from my vision. The scribe often paid the rent for them. Even though he rarely slept in the apartment, that didn't seem like it was enough. Gary, that's this guy, had some grudge against the scribe. They were fighting. It was something about Gary's wife. I found a clue, bottle of wine. Yes. Okay. Let me talk to him about Gary's wife as well. Jean, she's the scribe's sister. She also lives here with her husband. She is not in her apartment, though. She works at Lord de Clairefontaine's palace in the Ile de la Cité. So, another location that I can visit. As you can see, I have run out of space. So I'm going to place it sort of down here out of the way for now. And I might shuffle things around. Actually, I'm going to put it over here out of the way. Let's see. Do you know anything about this ruffian? Nope. Don't know. Okay, I'm going to say goodbye to him. Now I'm going to talk to this drunkard. Why are you bothering me? Well, tell me about your wife. If she isn't working at the palace on the Ile de la Cité, I don't know where she could be. I don't care. Well, tell me about your jug of wine. I know nothing about it, but I never refuse a good drink. Really, you know nothing about that. What about this letter? I don't know. Will you stop bothering me with your stupid questions? Well, what about the dead man? Antoine. My brother-in-law. Dead? Little bastard, I told him he was chasing money too much, but he wouldn't listen. I can't help you with your search. We didn't speak much. He never liked me. I didn't like him. That's it. We might have had a few arguments, might have punched him once or twice. He wanted to take my wife from Paris, start a new life. Supposedly I'm not treating her well? What a load of crap. I do what I can, and nobody's going to lecture me. I told him not to mention it again. Stop messing with Jean's head. And technically, I think it's Jean, but not gonna go there. Okay. I doubt he knows anything about that illuminated manuscript, so I'm going to say goodbye. And I can't scan the scene. They're not giving me the option to scan the scene. So I think we're going to go track down. Let's go to the Ile de la Cité first. You arrive at the palace courtyard. Ah, hello, buddy boy. No, you don't. That is what they call the pause of fate. Okay. Try and straighten things back out. Oh no, now they're slipping and sliding everywhere. Thanks, Jim. I think he didn't like that there's a dog in this one. Okay. There's that. Put that there. Now, if I really wanted to squish things together, I could, like, instead of putting the people below, which gives you the nice view of the artwork, I could put the people up here like this. So I might do that. Let's see how much of a pain in the rear and it's going to be to shift things around. Okay, so you arrive at the palace courtyard. The entrance is guarded. No one is allowed inside. Sergeant Matthias is here. Thanks. All right. Our good buddy Sergeant Matthias is here. Talking with the guard. You use the servant's entrance and meet the master of the kitchen. 19. Oh, he looks like a jolly fellow. All right, let's talk to the master of the kitchen. The head cook greets you and gives a treat to Percival. I have a lot of work in the Lord's kitchen, but I can spare you a moment. All right, well, let's get straight to business. What do you think of my dog? He looks skinny. Do you feed him properly? All right, let's talk about this lady. Jean? She's a good girl. I saw her in the palace earlier today doing her duties. Then she disappeared and no one could tell me where she went. Found her bag here in the kitchen. Here it is. Card number 30. Bags and sacks. Okay, what about this bag? Tell me more. Jean dropped it when she was running away. Why was she running away? Let me ask about her again. Yeah, found her bag here in the kitchen. You already know that. I mean, not giving me any new information. But I can use the dog, possibly, to track her down using the bag. But let's continue talking. Do you know anything about Antoine? Wish I could help. Okay. Do you know anything about Jean's husband? Well, that's Jean's husband. He's often drunk and violent. More than once. I've seen marks on Jean. I've offered to help. Asked her if she wanted to stay in our house near the Chateau de Louvre. She always refused, poor girl. All right, so there's an additional location that I now know about. This house near the Chateau du Louvre. F. But I can't see why I would want to visit that guy's house. Like, how is that relevant? So, we'll see. I mean, maybe that's where she went. Who knows? Is there anything I should ask him about? I don't know. Do you know anything about this cask of wine? Sounds like one of those fine Burgundy wines. Could probably tell you a bit more if I saw the actual bottle. Okay. Yeah, I think I've found out about as much as I'm going to find out from this guy. Let's talk to this sergeant before we leave. You again? What do you want now? Well, what do you know about the dead man? He obviously messed with the wrong people. That's all that shady business ends, if you ask me. Okay, do you know anything about the shady fellow? He may call himself a king of thieves or whatever, but he's just a common thug. Sooner or later, he'll end up in the dungeons of Bastille, I swear. Okay, king of thieves, that's fancy. You know anything about this cask of wine? I don't know anything about that. I feel like this guy's not going to help me at all. But I'll ask about the sister. Yeah, that's the dead scribe's sister. She ran away from the palace the moment she saw me. Suspicious, right? She's definitely hiding something. She dropped her bag, but it was empty. Left it in the kitchen. Asked the head cook about it. All right, it's not helping me any at all. But I'm going to try to use Percival to sniff the bag. See if we can track down the sister that way. Percival sniffs the bag, then runs off, his nose to the ground. You follow and arrive at a house near the Chateau du Louvre. Just as I thought. Okay. An old woman opens the door but doesn't let you in. Old woman number 22. So we're going to shift some things around here. So we're going to try this. It's not ideal. We don't get to see this beautiful artwork, but we can fit many more locations this way. See, now we have so much more room for activities. All right, so I'm at location F. And this old lady is here. Actually, I'll move this down so I can see the nice art for this new location. Whoopsies. All right, let's talk to her. Come on. What's up? She looks at you suspiciously. How may old Gertrude help you? Yeah, I'm looking for this lady. Come on. She seems hesitant. Maybe you could help her. Come with me. She opens the door and lets you inside. You find a young woman sitting by the fire. Aha, I found her. Look at her, poor girl. Life is not treating her well. This husband of hers, obnoxious man. She can stay here as long as she wants. Let's ask about the dead guy. You know anything about him? Poor Jean. I can't even imagine how she feels. Let's talk about her husband, I guess. He drinks a lot. He quarrels a lot. He can't provide for his family. He's violent. This man is capable of anything. Even killing. At least that's what my husband thinks. All right, let's talk to the sister. Maybe she can help us pull some of these strands together. A young woman looks at you with sad eyes. Okay, there we go. That looks a little better. Seeing Percival cheers her up a bit. Yes? Well, first, what do you think of my doggie? Jean smiles for a brief moment. I guess it's good to have such a faithful friend. Okay. So first of all, your bag. I must have dropped it when I ran from the palace. I used it to carry around the book Antoine was working on, but the bag was empty when I left it in the palace. The book, huh? Okay, tell me more about this book. Antoine told me that finishing this book would give him a substantial sum of coins. He always dreamed of leaving Paris. He wanted a simpler life for himself and his family somewhere else. He also wanted to get away from Marie. That's her. The book was almost finished. Antoine was going to bring me a few missing pages later today. She pauses for a moment, trying not to burst into tears again. But that's not important anymore. I hid the book in the cemetery. Location G. I'm going to use all the locations in this case. My goodness. Behind a loose stone, next to the angel statue. You should be able to find it easily. Well, thank you. While we're here, can you tell me about this cask of wine? One night, my husband brought that bottle to our apartment. I don't know where he got it, but it looks fancy. So is it still in the apartment? Let's ask about this cross. Antoine showed me the cross and said it was a payment. Were the letters? I'm sorry, kind sir, I don't know. Okay, well, let's talk about this lock of hair then. It was a gift from Marie to Antoine, a token of her affection. Well, tell me more about Marie. Antoine had an affair with her over a year ago, but something went awry and he didn't want to continue the relationship. He told me she'd become really demanding and was threatening him. Her husband is a jealous man and Antoine was afraid he'd find out about them. He started to avoid her. He locked the door to his workshop and focused on finishing the job quickly. I don't really know what else is going to be relevant, but let's talk about her drunk husband. Yes, Gary drinks a lot, and he can get quite violent. He's changed a lot since we moved to Paris. He doesn't want to leave the city and often argues with my brother about it. When Antoine said he wanted to take me from Paris, Gary beat him. Some nights my husband disappears and returns after a couple of days. I don't know what he does, but I'm scared of him sometimes. Okay, so I'm going to start out by looking for that book. So I'm going to go to the cemetery, move these cards up here, and we're going to go to the cemetery. And that looks like just about the maximum number of locations I can fit. But I can shift everything to the left, it looks like. So let's go ahead and do that. Not ideal, but workable. This camera is at a weird angle. I'm trying to line everything up according to the camera. And it looks straight from where I'm sitting, but then I look at the video and it is not. I'll do like that. Okay. Oh, come on. That is the problem with not having an actual board. And then we'll just kind of scoot everybody over. And then, I believe, I should have space, at the very least, to see these other locations. Hopefully I'm not going to discover it. I mean, there's only one more location I can possibly discover. Each of these is two-sided. Okay, let's go to the cemetery. You arrive at the cemetery. It's a hub for lowlifes and misfits. You see a group of thugs carrying barrels and bottles. The bottles are marked with a seal and look exactly like the one you saw in your dream. Two thugs notice you and approach, but a man with a roguish smile halts them. I knew it! That rogue! I knew he was going to not just be something somebody mentioned offhand at one point. All right, rogue, let's talk. This is the Cimetière des Innocents. Cimetière des Innocents. Well. Who visits Raoul Le Bon in his domain? Are you the gifted man people speak about? You've got quite a reputation, I must say, but I won't let you or your dog wander around my place. This is as far as you go. If you want to go any farther, you'll need to pay a toll. Or maybe you know our password, eh? Well, I certainly don't think I know his password, but let's talk about this jug of wine. I don't trust you enough to share what I know, but if you happen to know the password or have some coin to pay the toll, I might change my mind. Well, I don't have coin and I don't know the password. So, bye-bye, Raoul. We're going to go. Let's sort of shift the cemetery over here. We're going to go to location M, which I think was the pub. Goodbye, Raoul. Going to the pub. I swear that was given to me at some point. I wonder if it was this side of the thing. Yeah, here it is, side N. Okay, so we're going to the pub. The tavern occupies the lower floors of an old townhouse, squeezed between surrounding buildings. This is the tavern at the Rue de la Porte Montmartre. Entering, you are welcomed by suspicious looks from shady regulars. A woman in her 40s is standing behind the counter. Card 20. All right, so she's this woman here. I still haven't seen this guy, I don't think. Hello, sweetie. I usually don't allow dogs in my tavern, but I can make a small exception. So tell me, what brings a renowned knight such as yourself to my place? I'll kind of cut to the chase. I want to know about this wine. Her name is Eloise. Well, this kind of wine is very hard to obtain, but I've got a contract. I've got a contact with a wine vendor connected to a certain abbey in Burgundy. A young monk recommended me in exchange for a favor. A young monk. There we go. All of the pieces have now come together. That's this guy here. Oh, tell me about this monk. Where can I find him? He came to the tavern a couple of months ago. I remember because it's unusual to see someone like him in a tavern full of lowlifes. He was looking for someone skilled in copying documents. I introduced him to Antoine, and in return he put me in contact with a wine vendor from his abbey. He even promised a hefty discount for their best wine if I referred to him by name, which I did. Sadly, the shipment never arrived. Okay. Is that what this letter was about? Yes, that's a letter written in my name. It was one of the jobs the scribe did for me. Actually, it's one of the many letters Antoine was writing for me lately. I wanted to send this one to the owner of an inn located by the road leading to Paris. I'm waiting for a shipment of fine Burgundy wine. The problem is, it should have arrived many days ago. I lost quite a bit of money on that deal, so now I'm trying to find out what happened. Maybe one of my fellow innkeepers heard something. Tell me about this book. Sorry, sweetie, I have no idea what you're talking about. Did this cross look familiar? A young monk came here a couple of months ago with that same cross. It looked valuable, which is why I remember it. I haven't seen him since. Oh, geez. I don't know how I could talk to any of the fellow... What did she say about the thing? Maybe one of my fellow innkeepers heard something. And I guess I could go talk to this guy. I think that was an inn. Oh, dear. What can I do? I think I'm going to show the cross to my dog at this point. Okay. First of all, you find the guy associated with this cross? Percival ignores this item. There probably isn't enough distinct human scent on it. You should try something different. Well, that's not very useful at all. I don't know the password. Yeah, I'm going to talk to the Tavern Keeper about the drunkie. Oh, I often see him around here, drinking to his last coin, but I'm not well acquainted with my clients. Do you know anything about this guy? Maybe you think innkeepers know everyone in town? That's not true, sweetie. All right. I'll ask about Antoine, and that's my last thing. Oh, yes, I know this young lad. Poor soul, was a frequent guest of my tavern. Though he never drank, we had a small agreement, he and I. He worked for me whenever I needed his services, and I directed some clients his way. He was quite popular among local shady clientele. You know, thieves, thugs, and others. Why, your dead scribe was an excellent forger. You didn't know that, did you? Who could want him dead? I don't know. He was harmless, really. I saw him working with Raoul Lebon, the leader of a local gang. They usually hang around the cemetery. All right, I'm going to ask her about Raoul. Raoul leads a gang of local thugs. Don't worry, I know how to handle these types. You can find him somewhere around the cemetery. Can I scan a location, or is that just going to take me to the cemetery? I think that might take me directly to the cemetery. Yeah. Gee, I'm actually a little stumped. Let's see. I feel like I need to find this monk. I need to get the book. But I can't get into the cemetery without knowing the password. I don't know who would know the password. I mean, I guess I could ask the lady. What's her name? Jean. And maybe I could go back and ask her husband also if he knows anything. Go. Goodbye. We're going to go talk to Jean again. Inside you find Gertrude and Jean sitting together by the fire. You're approached by a boy wearing simple, dirty clothes. Ooh, something new is happening. Ooh la la. Good sir, I've been looking for you everywhere, and I was told I'd find you here. I have a message for you from Pierre, the householder of the tenement house in La Grande Boucherie. That's this guy. He says there was a fight in Antoine's apartment, and you should see it. Well, thank you, little boy. While I'm here, though, I'm going to ask Jean about Mr. Bon. I'm sorry, kind sir, but I don't know. Okay, never mind. All right, we're going to go back to the tenement house. When you visit the old tenement house, a householder informs you there was a fight recently. Forgot the voice I was doing for this guy. A guard came. I heard fighting, and a man living in the apartment ran away. See for yourself. But keep an eye on that dog. I don't need a bigger mess. You can speak with the householder or investigate the apartment. Aren't you that miraculous knight everyone talks about? Ha ha! And there's a faithful dog. What a story! I'm Pierre, and I'm at your service. Okay, let's talk to him about the guard. Yes, he came by asking about Jean. I showed him the apartment and left. And you won't believe what happened next. Shortly after, I heard loud voices and fighting. Then I saw Gary running away and the sergeant chasing him. That was something. They were like rabbits running around a field. What a story. What happened next? I don't know. I haven't seen them since. Gary? Where's he? Gary ran away after the fight with a guard, and I haven't seen him since. I don't know where he went, but he spends most of his day at the local tavern. You could check there. All right. Let's search the scene. Okay, so I'm going to go back into search the scene mode. 5. No. 4, 3, 2, 1. No. Okay, what is happening here? I accidentally selected something else. Oh no, I'm stuck. Okay, can I exit? Exit. It's not helping. All right, so this is basically, you can use like a special viewer that makes it like 3D. I guess I'm just going to use that. Oh dear, I can hardly see anything now. Okay, but I do see a bat. And I'm going to have to search this scene again. All right, sorry, we wasted a little time, but we're going to search the scene again. Play without special goggles. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Let's see. What can I see here? Okay. I do see a cask of wine. So that's important. I can't really tell what that is. There's a little bit of glitter on the screen. I see some blood. I see, that might be a table leg or a bat. Some scuff marks on the wall, but I don't know if that's important. Let's see. I really don't really see anything else important. There's a barrel that got busted open. There's something on the ground, but I can't. Oh, I can zoom. Can't really tell what it is. Okay. We'll do one more. What is that? I mean, it looks like it might just be a smashed candle. There's something white on the ground. I think maybe turn up my brightness a bit. Oh, maybe. Okay. There's definitely a cask of wine. Busted something next to it. Let's see. Oh, you can look through this by scrolling. So, see, you can. All right. All right, so I'm going to see if it's for this particular cask of wine. I wonder if that works. Bottle made of clay in a wicker basket. A wax seal has been stamped onto the side. So I found the special wine. What else did I see? Well, I definitely saw some blood. Let me see. I saw a melee weapon for sure. Simple cudgel lies on the floor. It's covered in blood. I guess I'll scan the blood again. See if it's going to be useful this time. Bless me? Pardon me? Small amount of blood marks the place where the cudgel was lying. Let's see. I really didn't see anything else that interesting. Headwear, tableware, paintings and drawings, books, clothes, tools, plants, toiletries and hygiene, trash, signs and symbols, and coins. Well, I did see something on the floor that, I mean, I guess it could have been trash. Scan that. Nothing in this category here. Okay. Okay. All right, I'm gonna ask my doggy about that cudgel. Is covered in blood. Percival sniffs the blood on the cudgel, but quickly loses interest. Seems he can't distinguish a single recognizable and strong scent. What about the wine? Percival sniffs at the bottle, then runs off, his nose to the ground. You follow and arrive at the cemetery. It's a hub for lowlifes and misfits. You see a group of thugs carrying bottles, blah, blah, blah. Two thugs notice you and approach. Man with a roguish smile asks you to halt, talk to him. Well, well, well. Who visits Raoul Le Bon in his domain? Are you the gifted man people speak of? I won't let you and your dog wander around my places as far as you go. Do I know the password? Well, I know about this wine. Do not have coin. I could go back to the original scene and see if there's anything I missed there. Or I could go back to my home and talk to my family. So I'm going to start there and see if my family knows anything. Okay, we're going to start with my uncle the monk. Oh, it's my beloved nephew. Many blessings in your search. How may a humble servant of the Lord use his books to help you? Well, first of all, do you know anything about this illuminated manuscript? Such commissions are not usually given to a scribe working in a private sectorium. It requires a lot of work and takes months to finish. Only someone wealthy could afford such an endeavor. Do you know anything about this monk? I know some of the clergy here in Paris, but I'm not sure about this one. He might be part of the abbot's retinue, which came to the city a few months ago. They live in a manor at Saint-Denis. All right. So the abbot and my final location, location D. Well, that does help, actually. All right, goodbye. Well, actually, no, let's talk about the abbot a little bit more. I want to hear more about the abbot. Adam de Vougeot is the abbot of l'Abbaye Bleue in Burgundy. He came to Paris a few months ago and now lives in a manor in Saint-Denis. Not sure why he's staying in the capital. It has something to do with politics, not the faith. Okay. Let's see. I don't know if... Well, let's see. Maybe my merchant sister can tell me about this wine. Welcome, little brother. Let me guess, you found yet another mysterious object and need my expertise? Yeah, tell me about this wine. Yes, this is a wine produced by Cistercian monks from a monastery in l'Abbaye Bleue. See the seal? It's quite distinctive. A few months ago, the abbot of that monastery came to Paris. It's possible the wine was brought along with his retinue. I'm not sure where he lives, but your uncle or brother might be better informed. I am going to talk to my brother and see if he knows anything about this password. Hello, brother. You may draw upon my knowledge of Paris and the secrets kept by its people. Yeah, you tell me about Mr. Bone. Raoul Le Bone is the leader of a local gang. They operate in Paris, but also maintain contacts outside the city. Mostly they deal in smuggling, but it's said they attack especially valuable merchant caravans if the opportunity arises. You can probably find him somewhere around the cemetery. Not helpful. Goodbye. I'm going to the abbey. The abbot. You arrive at the gates of a grandiose manor. A young Cistercian monk opens the gates, but refuses to let you in. Nobody likes to let me in this game, I've noticed. Maybe instead of a dog, I should have had like a battering ram. Yeah. Buddy, we gotta talk. A young monk studies you in Percival, then he greets you. Is there anything I can help you with? His name is Brother Timothy. Timothée. Yeah. Is this your cross? Where did you... Fine, come in. I think you need to speak with the abbot. The monk lets you inside and leads you to the abbot's chambers. Put these over here so that they're at least visible. All right, there you go. Okay, but I'm not done talking to you, young man. Tell me about this manuscript. The chronicle strengthens the claims of our abbot to the lands around the abbey. Hubert de Clairefontaine. My God, there's a lot of people in this case. Hubert de Clairefontaine. This fella seized them during the war with the English and refused to return them. Now the abbot is seeking justice from royal judges. The original book was lost during English raids, but a skilled scribe like Antoine could recreate it. When I spoke with Antoine last week, he said it was almost finished. That's why finding it is so important. Now tell me about Hubert. Lord Hubert de Clairefontaine is a powerful figure in the court. During the last skirmishes with the English, he was able to reclaim some of the abbey lands that had fallen into English hands. Now he refuses to return them to the rightful owner, the abbot. The two men are in the middle of a legal dispute, but the Lord seems to have the upper hand. At least he does until we have proof that our claims are stronger. The Chronicle. All right, let's talk to the abbot now. Actually, Brother Timothy. Timothée, tell me about Antoine. In fact, Antoine was hired by the abbot to prepare a copy of a lost chronicle. His death is sad and unfortunate. He was a good man and very skilled artisan. I originally met him. That's how we're doing on battery. We're actually doing very well. I originally met him in a tavern, but later we agreed to meet regularly in the scriptorium. It was usually late at night. I supervised the work and answered any questions Antoine had. Unfortunately, I don't know who might have wanted him dead. All right, just a wild hunch. Know anything about this sergeant? I'm not aware of that person. Do you know anything about Antoine's sister? No. Do you know anything about Mr. Bonbon? No. All right, let's talk to the abbot. He might know more. Welcome to my estate, my friend. What may a humble servant of our Lord and Savior do for you? Well, first, tell me about your young monk. Every day I thank God I have such a faithful servant. Tell me about Hubert. Hubert de Clairefontaine. He's a good servant to our king, but proud and relentless. He may have helped fight the English plague in our lands, but he also took what was not rightfully his. God will judge his actions. For now, though, the royal court will judge our dispute. In the end, the lands should, of course, belong to the abbey. Okay, tell me about this chronicle, then. The Chronicles of our abbey was lost during the war. It describes lands that would belong to the abbey for ages. I could use it against de Clairefontaine to win our legal dispute and reclaim the stolen lands. I need the book for that. You have quite a reputation as a man gifted by God. Maybe you are destined to help me with this noble cause? Find the book and bring it to me. Here, take this. Such an investigation might get expensive. He gives you a bag full of coins! The final piece of the puzzle I need. I still want to know what this guy has to do with everything. Do you know anything about this wine? That's the wine produced at our abbey. It's one of the finest in all of Burgundy. We provide it only to the royal court and noble houses. Okay, but what about this tavern woman? Okay, what about this letter? I'm afraid I won't help you with that. Okay. Rude. All right, let's talk about the drunk guy. No one I'm acquainted with. Let's talk about the thief. Nope. Okay. Oh, this is the Tavern Keeper, actually. Let's talk about her. Nope. Okay, goodbye. Is there anything else that I want to do? No, I think I'm going to go straight to the cemetery. You arrive at the cemetery, blah, blah, blah. Talk to him. Yes, yes, yes. I don't know the password. Is the password money? Now you're talking. Fine, you can pass, but don't make any trouble. Now you can explore the cemetery further. You locate the angel statue and find the chronicle hidden behind a loose stone. You take the book. Okay, so the coins is going to go down here. I once had coins, but the illustrated chronicle goes up here. I have now located it. I had once heard of coins. You don't happen to know anything about this guy, do you? Hey, I don't know everyone in town, right? Well, now they've paid you some money, can you talk to me about this wine? Bro looks over his shoulder where a shipment is being unloaded. Yeah, we might have something to do with it, but you won't tell anyone about it, right? It was Antoine who tipped me off about the shipment. I couldn't refuse. Of course, the scribe took money for that service. He had good business instincts, if you know what I mean. How did he know about the shipment? He was writing the letters that Eloise was sending to some abbey. All right, tell me about Antoine. The scribe is dead? Damn it! He was doing a great job here in the city. Best forger we had. I used his skills more than once. He knew where the money was, never missed an opportunity to earn a little on the side. Think we might have killed him? Nah. He was more valuable alive, believe me. You're barking up the wrong tree. Do you know anything about this drunk guy? Yeah, he works for us from time to time. Dumb but efficient. What about the sergeant? Sergeant Matthias? People call us thugs, but the real ones are those who claim to be in charge of the city's well-being. He's a bastard, a cheat, and a common sewer rat. Not worth dealing with, no matter what. I hope you know what I mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. All right, before I take the chronicle back, I want to go see if I can talk to Sergeant Matthias. You again. What do you want now? All right, well, tell me about this melee weapon. That's a kind of weapon thugs have been using lately. Belongs to Gary Poudevin. Poudevin, a man who attacked me during this investigation. Well, what do you know about Gary? He was the one who jumped me in the house where the dead scribe lived. Violent drunk. Then he ran away like a coward he is. All right, what about this wine? What do you know about that? Don't know anything about that. Do you know anything about... No, I don't think he knows anything about anything. All right, we're going to go back to the manor. Talk to Adam. Adam, welcome to my estate, my friend. What may a humble servant of our Lord and Savior do for you? Well, I found your book. The abbot takes the chronicle and flips through the pages. He smiles. God bless you. It's missing a few pages, but it's fine work. The book is enough to strengthen our claims in the royal court. You have my eternal gratitude, if, of course, you decide to give it to me when you've solved the case. Have I solved the case? All right, so I think it's time for me to sort of step back and talk about what I know, because I think I've got all the pieces. I certainly have the book. Okay. So Antoine is dead. We know he was making this illuminated manuscript for these monks. We know that the monks were also sending this special Burgundy wine to the tavern. We know that Antoine heard about this and tipped off the thief, Mr. Bonbon, so that they could intercept the shipment. We know that Antoine did not get along with his brother-in-law, whose name I'm blanking on, because he beat his wife. And this guy was in league with these thieves. He just happened to have the same thing of wine that these guys intercepted. I think before I go try to solve the case, I'm going to go talk to the sister again. All right, Gertrude and Jean. Let's talk to Jean again. So I found your manuscript. That's the book Antoine was working on. I don't see how it could be so important that Antoine had to pay the ultimate price. I don't want to see it anymore. It has only brought me bad luck. Did you meet this monk? Sorry, kind sir, I don't know. Did you... One night, my husband brought that bottle to our apartment. I don't know where he got it, but it looks fancy. Do you know anything about this thug, Mr. Bonbon? Sorry, kind sir, I don't know. Oh, gee. So, I kind of feel like the brother-in-law murdered him. Although, actually, it could have been this guy. We have no idea where that guy is. But, let's see, he could have murdered Antoine to prevent the Chronicle from coming to light. Do you know anything about this guy? I have to ask her. Do you know anything about this guy? That's a powerful lord living in the palace, as lords do. Oh, I can go talk to him in the palace. Okay. Bye-bye. We're going to the palace. We arrive at the palace courtyard. Sergeant Matthias is here. It's late at night. You won't be able to speak to anyone. You return to your family house to rest, and we'll continue the investigation tomorrow morning. I'm at home. All right, we're at day 2. Unfortunately, an additional entire day has passed. Well, while I'm here, I'm going to talk to my brother, the spy. Hello, brother. About Hubert. He's a powerful person, strictly tied to the royal court. His wealth and position were earned during recent conflicts with the English. He resides in the palace, in the Ile de la Cité, but he speaks only to his loyal servants and peers. In court, I heard a lot of talk about de Clairefontaine's legal dispute with Abbot de Vougeot. They're fighting over precious lands in Burgundy. And we'll talk to my brother, the monk, see what he knows, or my uncle. Okay, we're going to go back to the palace. Talk to the cook. Ask him about Hubert. Hubert de Clairefontaine is a good lord, and he values my work. I can't complain. Recently, he's become occupied with some legal matters. I don't know any details. I could take you to the Lord's chambers if you wish. I think he'd like to speak with a person like you. Come. Bartolome requests an audience for you, and the Lord agrees. So I believe I'm now speaking with the Lord. What brings such a famous knight to my palace? Are you offering me your talents? Well, first of all, thank you for meeting with me. But let's cut straight to the chase. Tell me about this abbot. An old fool who doesn't realize he already lost. Yes, I have legal dispute with Abbot de Vougeot, but it won't last long. His claims are weak, and he should just accept his failure. Do you know anything about the scribe, Antoine? The scribe? Sergeant Matthias discovered he was involved in criminal dealings. If de Vougeot needs to use the services of such people, I don't need to worry. It's just pathetic. The book he was working on is common forgery. Nothing more. Yeah, let's talk about that book. So it is true what they say about you. You found the book. I assume you'll make the right choice and give me this copy after you solve the case. I'm counting on you and repay the favor considerably. You know anything about the wine? Used to be one of my favorites. Now it tastes sour when I drink it because it reminds me of Madame de Vougeot. Know anything about this melee weapon? Those things don't concern me. What about the sister? I don't need to know all these people. One more time, I'm going to ask him about Antoine. All right, goodbye. All right, we're going to go talk to the sister one more time. I want to know why she ran away from the policeman. I don't think I actually ever asked her about that. Yeah, why did you run away from Sergeant? Antoine warned me the sergeant was dangerous. When he called for me in the palace, I panicked and ran away. I knew I couldn't go back to my house. The only safe place I could think of was Monsieur Madame Abernard's place. Okay, not super helpful. I think I've solved the case about as good as I can. So as of right now, I don't actually know. Did the brother-in-law kill him? Actually, I know I'm wasting time going back and forth, but I want to ask her one more time about this manuscript. Book Antoine was working on. Ask her about Antoine again. Antoine came to me a few days ago with a book. He asked me to hide it somewhere no one would find it. He explained the sergeant was looking for it. See, that is so weird. Sergeant came to the workshop a few days earlier asking about the book, but left when someone approached him in the corridor. Antoine was afraid he'd come again. He told me to avoid the sergeant for my own safety. Okay, so this is getting really bizarre. Okay, I'm going to go back to the scene of the crime. The dead body is still on the floor, by the way, the next day. We're going to ask Marie about the sergeant. He seems rather unpleasant, but maybe that's how you need to be when you deal with thugs, criminals, and murderers. Ask her about this book. Ask her about Hubert. Don't know that person. I'm going to search the scene one more time. Then I'm going to ask the sergeant about the book one more time. Okay, let's try to do it this way this time. Okay, so there's that cross. There's the dead body, lockbox, books, parchment, a broom, which is completely unimportant. Yeah, that's about it. I think it's definitely the Chronicle. Somebody killed him. Oh, yeah, I remember the bookshelves were empty. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else here. So I remember the bookshelves were empty. So whoever killed him was definitely after that book. I'm going to ask the sergeant about the book. But it seems like the sergeant must have killed him. Maybe the sergeant can fess up about his connection with Hubert or something like that, or Hubert can tell me about the sergeant. I don't know if I'm going to get a confession. Let's talk to the sergeant first. Yeah, tell me about this book. Come on, man. We know you're lying. When the sergeant sees the Chronicle, his eyes open wide. This book! If I were you, I'd give it to Lord de Clairefontaine. Otherwise, you'll be making a big mistake. Come, I'll present you to the Lord. Sergeant Matthias leads you inside the palace, where the Lord agrees to see you. Yeah, tell me about the Matthias. My good and faithful soldier. I appointed him to the rank of sergeant, hoping the cities would benefit from his talents. I expect great things from him. Okay, so I know exactly what happened now. Good thing I didn't try to solve the case earlier. So this guy hired the sergeant to get the chronicle. Sergeant kills this guy. At some point, he gets in a tussle with the brother-in-law. Not quite sure what happened there. It's definitely not super important. All right, Hubert. All right, Sergeant, I'm going to ask you about Hubert. What do you want now? Tell me about Hubert. Did you speak with Lord de Clairefontaine? It is a great honor that he is willing to listen to you. Tell me about Antoine one more time. Come on. He obviously messed with the wrong people. That's how all the shady business ends, he asked me. All right, we're going home. We're solving the case. All right, solve the case. So what we do now is we answer a series of questions and see how many we answered correctly. And that basically gives us a score for solving the case. Yes. Who murdered Antoine? Well, I know it was Sergeant Matthias. What was the motive for the crime? This chronicle. Where did Antoine find new side jobs? At the tavern. Who provided Eloise with connections to the wine vendor? I think it was the monk. Who is Gary Poudevin working for lately? He was working for this Mr. Bonbon. Who was the main political adversary of Adam de Vougeot? Hubert. Who, in your opinion, should receive the illustrated book? So here we're making a choice. This is not about solving the crime. This is about something greater. And perhaps this choice will come back in a later case. So I'm going to say, obviously, the abbot should receive it. You are now certain that Sergeant Matthias killed the scribe. You provide the judges with the murder weapon and the motives that led to the killing. His patron rejected him, and he will face trial without the protection of a noble. Jeanne, crushed by the sudden death of her brother, decided to abandon her husband and leave Paris for good. She started a new life somewhere else. With the copied chronicle in hand, Adam de Vougeot was able to resolve the judicial dispute. The book was clear about the claims, and the abbey was bestowed with new lands. I got a score of 100 out of 100. Very nice. And I answered every question correctly. And there's a little summary if we want to read it. Adam de Vougeot, the abbot of L'Abbaye Bleue, needed the forged chronicle to strengthen his claims to certain lands and win the judicial dispute with Lord Hubert. Sergeant Matthias heard in the tavern about the arrangement between Antoine and his brother Timothée. Matthias wanted to get the chronicle in his hands and give it to his patron, de Clairefontaine. His first attempt to take it from the scriptorium was interrupted. The chronicle was nearly finished, missing only a few pages. Antoine, afraid the sergeant would come again, gave the book to his sister and asked her to hide it. He promised to bring the missing pages the next day, but he never got the chance to write them. Sergeant tried to get the book once more. Antoine wouldn't tell him what happened to the book, and there was a fight. Sergeant used his cudgel, hoping to get answers by force. An unfortunate blow to the scribe's head proved fatal. The chronicle was nowhere to be found, so the sergeant continued searching, using the investigation as a cover. He targeted Antoine's family, but couldn't find the book. Both Gary and Jeanne were able to avoid being captured. Ultimately, all the evidence proves the sergeant's guilt. He now faces trial for murder, and connections in high places will not help him. And that's the end of the missing pages. They're asking me to rate the game on Board Game Geek, which I'm not going to do right now. That was fun. That was a great little mystery. I feel like I was definitely using my brain, tracking down clues. Wasn't extremely difficult, but it was fun. There was definitely some thinking to be had, and we got a nice little story. And hopefully, it ties in to some of the future cases. We'll see what ends up happening with that. But thank you for watching. We're going to stop the stream now. And we'll be back in some undisclosed future week. I'm planning to try to do a board game or a card game on most weeks on Fridays. We'll see how that goes. I cannot do every Friday. In fact, for the foreseeable future, I'm going to be working every other week on Friday for the next couple of months. But on the days when I'm not working, I might play a game. So we'll see. Hopefully I can figure out what is up with my connection, my stream quality, get that improved. Because I don't know why, if I'm streaming in 1080p from the HDMI cable, I don't know why that would be so much of a better connection than streaming in 1080p from the webcam. It's not like my computer's doing a ton more work or anything like that. So we'll look into that. Hope you had fun. And yeah, have a great night.